What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Adam, and I am coming at you from Australia. I'm so stoked to finally be here. This has been a dream trip of mine for as long as I can remember. And let me tell you, it did not disappoint. Australia is a massive country home to some of the world's most beautiful and diverse landscapes. From the pristine beaches of Esperance to the tropical island of Lord Howe, Australia is waiting to be experienced. Alright guys, first up on the list is Tasmania. Tasmania is located off of Australia's southeast coast. It's an island home to some of the country's best nature and wildlife. I spent a few days road tripping Tasmania and was blown away by the beauty of this place. One of the main reasons I wanted to come here was to visit Cradle Mountain. It's located in the Central Highland of Tasmania and is part of Cradle Mountain Lake St. Clair National Park. The area is home to some of the most beautiful scenery in Tasmania. What really drew me to the area is the wombats. They're the cutest animals I've ever seen. And there's this place called Ronnie Creek, where you can go on these raised walkways and see at least 20 wombats just chilling, eating grass. It was so peaceful to hear them munch on the grass. Talk about nature ASMR. Next up, we have to talk about the coastline, because Tasmania's coastline is absolutely mind-blowing. There are these massive sea cliffs that plunge straight into the ocean. It's like something out of Jurassic Park. One of the most incredible places to see these cliffs is at a place called Cape Raoul, located on the Tasman Peninsula. Cape Raoul is home to some of the tallest sea cliffs in the Southern Hemisphere. You can reach it by a 10-kilometer hike, but we decided to take a boat tour out to Cape Raoul. It took us about an hour to get there, and the views along the way were amazing. Once we reached Cape Raoul, I was just amazed by the size of the rocks and sea cliffs. Alright guys, next up we're heading over to the west coast to check out Western Australia. Before I came to Australia, I thought it would be feasible to road trip across the country in a day or two, until I realized it was a 40-hour drive from Sydney. The 4-hour flight is definitely a faster option, but if you want to do a week or two road trip, it would be an incredible drive. The capital of Western Australia is Perth, which is the 4th most populous city in the country. What I particularly liked about Western Australia is its coastline. The beaches are home to white sands, crystal clear waters, and kangaroos just chilling on the beaches. The area around Esperance is particularly beautiful. It's home to some of the whitest sand in Australia and the world. I mean, I can't believe the beauty of this place. Special thanks to my friend Earthly Tom for sharing his footage of Esperance. He makes great videos of Australia, and I'll link his channel in the description so you can check them out. One of my favorite beaches in Esperance is Twilight Beach. It's located 10 minutes outside the town of Esperance and has this massive rock just off the coast that is popular for some cliff jumping. Another beautiful place in the area is Cape Le Grand. We're going to head into Australia's centre to visit the outback. When you look at Australia from space, you'll notice that basically all the cities are on the coast, but the interior of the country is an orange, desolate landscape with hardly anyone living there. That's the outback. The most iconic landmark in the outback is Uluru, or Ayers Rock. It's a massive monolith made up of sandstone. You can reach the area by flying into the nearby town of Yulara or by making the 4-hour drive from Alice Springs. Uluru is a sacred site for the indigenous Australians and is believed to be a resting place for ancient spirits. There's definitely an energy there, and it's just bizarre how it sits alone in the desolate outback. You can actually climb Uluru, but I chose not to out of respect for the Aboriginal people. Alright guys, for this next destination, we're heading over to the East Coast to check out the city of Brisbane. Brisbane is located on the East Coast. Brisbane was founded in 1824, and today it's the 3rd most populous city in Australia and the capital of Queensland. It's a beautiful city, built on the Brisbane River, and has an average of 260 days of sunshine per year. Just an hour from Brisbane is the Gold Coast, which is this incredible city with a huge beach contrasted with skyscrapers. If you want a more natural setting, you can embark to the Glasshouse Mountains, located about an hour's drive from Brisbane. The Glasshouse Mountains are a group of 13 volcanic peaks. They are some of the most peculiar mountains I've ever seen. Regularly voted as one of the best beaches in the world, Whitehaven Beach is located on Whitsunday Island. You can reach it by taking a boat or seaplane. The boat tour is the most affordable option, and you can reach Whitehaven by departing from places such as Airlie Beach or Shute Harbour on the mainland. Once you arrive at Whitehaven, you'll be amazed by the surrounding scenery. The sand is made up of silica, giving it its white color, and when combined with the blue ocean water, it creates this swirly turquoise mix that winds back into the island's inlet. You can get an elevated view of the area from the Hill Inlet Lookout. Another incredible destination on the nearby mainland is Cape Hillsborough National Park. When I imagine Australia, kangaroos on the beach always come to mind, and Cape Hillsborough is one of the best places in the country to see them roaming on the coast. If you want the best chances of seeing them, you can wake up around 5 a.m. to witness the kangaroos and wallabies on the beach for sunrise. It's such an incredible setting with the rising sun and the kangaroos feeding on the mangrove seed pods and seaweed. Probably one of the most famous places in Australia, the Great Barrier Reef is located on the northeastern coast of Australia. It's the biggest reef system in the world, stretching over 2,300 kilometers. It can be seen from space and is the world's largest structure made by living organisms. It's easy to see why it's one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. It's home to over 10% of all the ocean's fish species, and there's also plenty of whales and sharks. A potential city to access the Great Barrier Reef from is Cairns. It's located near some of the most prime coral reefs and islands of the Great Barrier Reef. Chapter 8. Daintree Rainforest, the oldest rainforest in the world. We're going to head up north to visit the Daintree Rainforest. Located about a 3-hour drive from Cairns, the Daintree Rainforest is a combination of massive mountains, pristine beaches, and possibly the oldest rainforest in the world, which began over 110 million years ago. The rainforest is home to animals such as the southern cassowary, and I particularly like the area around Cape Tribulation. It's definitely one of my favorite places in Australia when it comes to natural beauty. Chapter 9. Sydney Beaches, Cityscapes, and the Blue Mountains. We're going to head back to Australia's cities to visit Sydney. Located on the southeast coast, Sydney was founded back in 1788 as a British penal colony, and today it's the most populous city in Australia with around 5 million people. It's home to the world-famous Opera House, which was opened in 1973. I really like the beaches around Sydney. One of the most famous ones is Bondi Beach. It's located just 20 minutes outside of Sydney, and it's a massive beach with some really cool pools alongside the ocean. Just down the coast is also Bronte Beach. It's smaller than Bondi Beach but has its own charm. And there's this really cool public pool called Bronte Baths that you can get in if you don't want to swim in the ocean. A beautiful place outside of Sydney is the Blue Mountains. They are located about an hour-and-a-half drive from Sydney, and it's this incredible mountain range that has a famous distinct color due to a combination of eucalyptus oil droplets from the forest combining with water vapor and dust, creating a blue hue. Chapter 10. Melbourne and the 12 Apostles. Located in the state of Victoria, about a 9-hour drive from Sydney, Melbourne is the second most populous city in Australia and was ranked the world's most livable city 7 years in a row. There's a lot to do around Melbourne, such as taking a drive through the scenic Black Spur Forest. One of the most famous places in the area is the 12 Apostles, located about a 3-hour drive from Melbourne. The 12 Apostles is a set of limestone sea stacks. While you're there, you can marvel at the stacks from the boardwalk and many viewpoints. Outro until next time, Australia. Well, that is it for my Australia Top 10. I'm barely scratching the surface. There's so much to see in this incredible country, so I'll be back for part 2. Let me know where your favorite place is in Australia in the comments below.